welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Angie. Thank you for coming along on this journey. Do you like what you see? Make sure to click the subscribe button down below. I actually believe it's on this side, but I could be wrong. And if you guys don't want to miss any of my video, I don't have a set schedule at the moment, but if you do click the bell right next to the subscribe button, you'll be able to catch me every time I post. So with that, let's kind of get into today's topic. For today's video, I really wanted to put on, as you guys can see, I'm in my jammies, and it's a onesie. Bam! I wanted to get really cozy with you guys today in order to talk to you guys about the idea of personal legends. I thought pajamas would be appropriate because I wanted us to get cozy and have like the types of talks that you have at 3 in the morning. The types of talks that, you know, you feel like you're entering into a new realm of existence because it's like deep and meaningful and full of life and care. And I feel like it's so hard in our own lives to get past the niceties and the kind of like that edge where you're like, have I known this person long enough? Can I open up and be vulnerable with them? Can I talk about things that matter to me? I just love YouTube for this exact reason, because it's a platform to do just that, to kind of have the 3 a.m. talks, to have the pajama talks, as I think I'll start calling them. Like, get real with you guys about what I'm thinking about, what's going on in my life. So this talk comes to you guys based on a book that I read, and the main topic of the book is this idea of personal legends. Familiar with the idea of a personal legend? It's the idea that we all come into this world with kind of like a story to tell or a path to walk, in the sense that all of us have like a calling within us. What makes our soul kind of shimmer and feel warm and ignites a desire within us to be part of this world. And some people call it passion. Passion, I feel like, is a little bit different, but it's also a little bit different than destiny. And let me quickly explain to you guys what I mean by that. And that destiny is the idea that things are gonna happen no matter what. No matter what we do, no matter what we say, it's all gonna turn out the same. Where personal legends is not like that. Personal legends depend on the steps that you take. So we all have a personal legend, whether we decide to go after it, whether we decide to fulfill that and fulfill our calling is up to us. So that's like the difference between the two, super quick. And passion is definitely a part of personal legend, but I think personal legends are deeper. I think they're more connected to your soul. It's not just like, I'm passionate for chocolate, because I am. I genuinely believe that's a true passion of mine, but I know that it's not my calling to just eat chocolate every day, you know? Like, I feel like that's the difference between like destiny and passion and personal legends. It wasn't on my fall reading video, but my dad had brought it home, and he had been like, oh, hey, I just bought this book. I thought it was really good. Have you read it? And I was like, yeah, I read it in high school. It was so good. And like, the more I was like trying to talk this book up, the more I realized I honestly didn't remember anything that this book was about, but I remembered liking it. So I was like, oh, why don't I read this with my dad? It'll be like a fun little book club. And so we did. So we read the book together. It's called The Alchemist, and it's fantastic. And it's all about personal legends. And so in this book, it's about a boy who follows his personal legend. We kind of walk through with him as he's going on the journey for his own personal legend. We get to see his triumphs, his setbacks. We get to understand how he interprets everything that goes on in his life, and how each step that he takes brings him closer or further away from his personal legend. Also, you can see that his path to his personal legend isn't a straight line. So he gets told in the book about his personal legend through a dream, and he doesn't magically appear at the end of his personal legend. Every step that he takes is a twist and a curve, and it's not a straight line. And that's the thing in most of our lives. The road to our personal legend is never going to be a straight line. We're going to end up taking jobs that we didn't expect, or we're going to end up finding things in our life that we never expected to encounter to get to that personal legend. But just because your path isn't straight to your personal legend doesn't mean that it changes. And I kind of want to talk to you guys about my path at the moment, and I've kind of gotten so used to the twists and curves at this point that every new twist or every new curve is kind of just like, I feel like I'm on a a lazy river where I'm just like flowing with it. Like, oh, we're turning again? Okay, cool. We're gonna go this way? Perfect. I feel you. What do I have to learn from this situation? So I wanted to tell you guys, I just got a new job. Guys, I'm a barista. And I realized when I started telling people that I was like so excited to be a barista and I got a job as a barista, I like got feedback that I just didn't realize, and I've just been kind of like, you know, like shifting off the haters. But people are like, oh, why would you do that? I'm like, what do you mean, why would I do that? I've always been into coffee. I love coffee shops. They're my favorite place. Like, they're my sanctuary. Why wouldn't I want to work as a barista? I have lots of dreams. Like, don't get me wrong. I have tons of dreams. When I was a kid, I wanted to be like the president. I've had tons of dreams in my life, and I still have lots of dreams. But I don't think you need to diminish one dream in order to achieve another. Being in line with your personal legend, like any little dream is a success and a step forward on that personal legend. And I think what people need to understand is that we are all following our own paths at our own pace. And there's this really cool quote that, hold on, I'm gonna look up for you guys. Read you guys this quote. It's from Alice in Wonderland, the book, not the movie, like during while she meets the caterpillar. And she says, but I need your help. I don't know what to do. And the caterpillar responds, my dear child, don't you see? Nobody does. We are all on our own journey to discover our magic within. We all have a purpose to find, and we all have dragons to slay. In the end, only you can know. This is your journey, not mine. So I really like this quote because it's true, we do walk these paths alone. There are people along the way who help to strengthen you, who help you to grow, but at the end of the day, we're the only ones who can slay our dragons. We're the only ones who have the power to say yes or no to the different situations that we're in. Even though people can influence your path, you're the captain. You're the one driving this ship, sailing this ship, whatever you want this metaphor to be. But that's the point, that we are kind of all on our own paths. And I feel like for myself, I kind of woke up to this realization a couple years ago now, and realized that my path was always going to be something different than the people around me. For some people who don't know, I went to school out in DC, and then after my first year, I found out that it was just, we kind of came to this realization as a family that it was way too expensive and it wasn't really worth the cost. And I think at the time I was just so devastated and heartbroken. And I just didn't see past that time in my life. And I felt like I needed to be in school and I needed to be with the friends that I made. Really difficult for me. And once you kind of like push against the flow of the people around you, it is tough. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It was a really hard couple months, and it turned into a really hard couple years because I didn't handle it as well as I could have. And that year, afterwards I took a year off, and I was so unsure of everything around me. I like lied to people about what I was doing. I felt uncomfortable. I was just I felt like a failure because I wasn't following the path that everybody else was. And I think in the United States, we have such a narrative that we're all on the same path, that, you know, we go to school, we get a job, we find somebody to fall in love with, we get married, we buy a house, we have kids. And it's a very prevalent narrative in our society. I'm not saying that this can't be your path. If it is your path, that's awesome, but I'm saying it doesn't have to be your path. And so my realization and my story of this, I want to tell you guys a little bit about it, just because, I don't know, so you guys can get to know me a little bit more. I'm taking time off school right now, and I've kind of come to a point that I don't even know if school's for me. Education, I'm a strong believer in. I wanted to go into education policy, actually, and I'm still super passionate about it. And I think learning is something that we need to be doing every day, and that we need to educate ourselves constantly. But for me, on my personal path, I'm also recognizing that I don't have the financial income at the moment to invest in getting a certification, because at the moment that's kind of what school's turned into. And you can disagree with me, and maybe you can see my view as being jaded, but it is. We can all, especially with internet nowadays, you can learn anything. You can literally learn anything on your own. The only difference is if you put the time and effort and whether or not you're gonna be certified for it. I mean, you can't, there are a lot of jobs and a lot of things that you can't do without that piece of paper that certifies you as being a graduate student or being graduated from college. But then again, I know tons of kids who barely scraped by in college, who barely graduated, who barely put in any effort at all, and now they can get jobs that people who maybe did put in a lot of time to learning can't. And so I think that it's not good or it's not bad in any regard. I just think we're all on a different path. In my life, I don't know whether that path includes going back to college or not. And I know for a lot of people in my life and a lot of people who care about me, that unnerves them so much, because for them, what they see as happiness is me following the path that we're supposed to follow. And I'm honestly touched and honored whenever people are like, oh, you have to go back to school, because it means that they see a future for me that's positive and full of light. I want to say thank you to everybody who tells me, oh, you need to go back to school, because I appreciate them looking out for me, for caring about me. I think it would be worse if people were just like, oh, I didn't see you being, I didn't see you going anywhere anyway, you know, like I'm grateful, and I know that it's coming from a place of their own experiences, and that's just the same in mine. I'm coming from a place of my own experiences, and so all I can do is just be grateful that people care. And if they want happiness for me, even though their happiness and my happiness looks different, like, that's totally fine. I think that's a good thing, and I'm so grateful now. Every time people are like, oh, you have to go back to school, it's kind of a funny conversation, because you're like, well, I'm happy where I am, and some people are like, but it's not what I understand as being happy, so clearly you can't be happy. I know where I'm going, and I know my path, and that's what's important. As long as you know where you're supposed to be going, and don't let other people push you either. Like, that's one of the biggest ways that we never fulfill our personal legends, is we let people push us away from our own path, because we're afraid of what they'll think, and we're afraid of how society will view us. Also, note, we no longer live in the good old days where if you are not accepted by the society in your community, and you're going to die. No. Nowadays, we have the choice to step aside from our community and from our society. It's scary. Evolutionarily, it scares the hell out of us. We're not supposed to be doing that. But nowadays, we have I am just always shocked by the amount of freedom that we have, especially in the United States. We get to pick who we're married to. We get to pick what kind of job we get to have. We are blessed. So don't let something as silly as your community push you. If they truly love you, they're gonna love you no matter what. You're welcome. They're gonna love you no matter what. My parents, were they thrilled when I was like, yeah, I'm not going back to school? No. You think Bob and Gigi jumped for joy when I said that? No. But guess what? They love me, and so they're gonna support me, and whatever, I feel is my path and my true journey, they're gonna be there 100%. And maybe they weren't on board with it at first, but what's worse? Losing a daughter? Fitting your ideal life. Losing a daughter is much worse. Yeah. So after understanding my own path up until this point, I feel like I understand the world a little bit better. Maybe my path isn't like your path. Your path is to go to college, and maybe you're going to become the best English professor in the entire world. Maybe you'll become a scientist who finally understands the inner workings of dark matter. Maybe you grow a garden that's so big and beautiful that people travel from all over the world to come visit. Personal legends are not supposed to match. And I always like to think of it in the same way that I think about math. Like math at all. It annoys me. I made a joke one time like, good thing I could add up those numbers. And somebody was like, what?
What do you mean you can't add 26 plus 17?
I was like, it takes me a minute, okay? Like, it's not my thing. A fantastic reader. Thank you very much. That's the thing. I'm so happy that other people love math, and that's their personal legend, because we need that balance in life. And so what if it's not mine? It doesn't need to be, because it's somebody else's. And that's what's so beautiful about personal legends. When we fulfill them, when we follow them, when we are trying our best to be the best versions of ourselves and fulfilling this idea, we end up contributing and helping others just by being our best selves. Not even by like going out of your way to do something. Because if you go out of your way to like go work at a homeless shelter and you don't like working at a homeless shelter, you're not doing anyone any favors. Not yourself, not the people who are there, because they can feel the disgenuineness of your efforts. Like, do what speaks to you. At the end of the day, what's more beautiful than becoming our best selves? And that's what personal legends are all about, becoming our best self. And when you become your best self, you live in a world full of possibilities, in a world full of abundance, in a world full of just incredible, incredible things. And so that's why I think it's so important to talk about personal legends and to make sure that everyone is trying their best to follow theirs, you know? I want to spread the joy. I want to spread the love. Okay, so that's kind of it for today. I want to just start off simple as possible with this whole idea of personal legends, because again, it's like a 3 a.m. talk. It's like pretty intense, but I also wanted to know just kind of what you guys are thinking about it. If you really like it, I was thinking about doing like a series, another video on the courage of maybe being able to go after your personal legend, or another on just like how do you even know that you're on the path to your personal legend. So let me know in the comments down below if you guys would like to see videos like that, because I'm more than happy to do more of these pajama talks with you guys. I do also have a few more onesies, not to like spoil any surprises, but look forward to those if you guys want more of these talks. Otherwise, I hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and see you guys next time. Bye!